Hi everyone. I'm doing a journal page here using leftover paint when I was creating that page on the left. And I'm using a sponge right now, just the sponge on some leftover paint. And then I had some more paint left over on the brush. And I'm just using that paint, creating little circles and not knowing what I really wanted to do with that page. I wasn't paying much attention to a lot of it that I was doing, so I was just applying the paint and using it up. And then I pulled out some stamps and decided to do some stamping as well. And those were kind of a faded look stamping, so I pulled a stamp off the block and then continued stamping with some of that darker paint. And that's what you see right there. And this is some Lavinia stamps, little fairies, and I'm stamping it on some tissue paper. I'm using a fairy theme with this page, just like the page on the left was a fairy theme. And then after I stamp on the tissue, I'm using a water brush to outline the fairy so I can separate it easily. And that's what I'm doing here. And then after I separate them like that, I'm going to Mod Podge them on the little blue circles that I created, which I am calling globes. And I'm using Collage Podge to adhere them to the page. So while I'm doing that, I wanted to take this time to tell everybody thank you so much from all the people that sent such nice comments when I was absent. I really appreciate it. It meant a lot to me. And I'm doing great, and I just couldn't wait to get back into crafting again. So thank you so much again, y'all. Okay, so I'm just going to continue Mod Podging or collaging these into those globes. And if you'll notice, those little fairies, they don't have wings. And so eventually I do draw wings on them, but I didn't have that recorded, and I apologize for that. But I wanted to let you know that I did draw little wings on those fairies. And it looks like they are holding something in their hand, and I'm thinking it's probably fairy dust. So eventually I do get the stickles out, and I put stickles on the wings that I created and also on that fairy dust. Right here I'm using my Derwent Inktense pencil, and I'm outlining the little circles to give them more definition, because when I was applying that paint initially, I had no idea what I was going to do. So now I'm going to try to give them some more definition, and that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to take my water brush, and that's what I'm doing here, and I'm wetting the penciling mark that I made, and it's also giving me more definition on the circles plus some shading. Right here I'm using a gel pen to color in the flowers, and in some of the stamps the flowers are somewhat faded, so as I apply the gel ink I dab it with a paper towel to make the flowers look a little faded. And when I'm colored in the flowers on the other stamping that's darker, I just leave that dark color in. And that's what I'm doing here. So I have some faded look flowers and some that are not. And this is blue stickles, and I'm applying some stickles to the little berries that's on the branches to give them some sparkle. I'm applying some text now with some stamps, and I apologize. The package that these stamps come from, I don't have the name of them, and I'm doing each letter individually because it was easier for me to make sure I get it stamped on good. Sometimes when I put all those stamps on one block, it doesn't always give me a really crisp stamp, so I'm putting it on letter by letter, and I'm putting on fairy globes. That's what I'm going to be stamping out, and the letters are a little bit thin, and eventually I'll take a black Sharpie and make them a little bit thicker. Now you see on the left hand side of that page I had smeared some paint from when I did the previous page. So I'm going to take that same color paint and create a border all around, and that's what I'm doing here. I start out by making this little border straight using the ruler, and eventually I keep adding and changing it along the way. You'll see that further on in the video. Right here I'm using my white Posca pen just to give some reflection on the globes. I love using Posca pens. They work real good on journal pages. And this is where I'm using a black Sharpie to make the letters a little more bold. And create some more doodles around the words. And this is where I was adding the stickles to the wings, and as you can see, I drew the wings on, and I didn't have that on my video. I apologize. Okay, so now I'm adding some more to the border just to decorate it, make it more fun. And I like it that the paint is a little transparent where you can see through it, so that's what I like about that. It's almost like looking through colored glass. I'm using a black Posca pen here, just doing some doodling. Make a Wish is something that I punched out from my little label maker, and I'm just applying it there, and then I'm going to take a black pen and make a little border, trying to make it stand out a little more, and I'll realize later that it's not quite enough, so I'll add some lacquer to the top of it to bring the text out a little more. And I'm using a white Posca pen here just to put some highlights on all the words or the letters. And makes them stand out a little bit. And here's some more doodling on the border again, making it fun. That's the nice thing about playing in your journal. You can just have fun with it. And if you mess up, that's fine too. Just keep going. This is Basics gloss varnish, and I'm going to just cover the little globes to give them more of a shine. And I decided to use the varnish instead of glossy accent. And so after I put this one coat on, I let it dry completely, and I go back and put another coat on. And that gave it a nice shine. This is 3D crystal lacquer, and I'm going to add it to the text on fairy globes, and it makes them shine, and it gives them a raised look, which I like, and it's just like glossy accent, and it works the same, has the same effect. And of course, once I put that on, I'll have to let that dry a while. And I use a needle there to pop the bubbles. Right here is some crystal color lacquer, which is the same as what I used on fairy globes, except this has color to it. And again, it's just like glossy accent, but it does have color. And I'm just using it over the labels that I put on to make them stand out a little more. Then I just add some of that same color all around the journal page, just making some doodle marks. This is a butterfly punch, and I punched out some pink cardstock, and I'm edging it with some StazOn ink. And then I'm going to cover the top of them with that pink stickles. And I punched 3 butterflies out, and there's the butterfly. Stickles make some sparkle. This was a lot of fun doing this page. What was so neat is I didn't know what I was going to do when I was just applying the paint from my other page. Okay, so there it is, fairy globes, and you need to make a wish. Well, this was fun, y'all, and I'm so glad to be back again crafting, and I appreciate everybody watching and all your sweet comments. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.